MaJaMa Jams is brought to you by Toilet Picking Season. In 1932, audiences were terrorized by Boris Karloff and the Mummy. In 1959, audiences were mesmerized by Christopher Lee and the Mummy. In 1999, audiences were amazed by Brendan Fraser and the Mummy. In 2017, audiences were hypnotized by Jordan Peele and Get Out. Oh, in that same year, audiences avoided Tom Cruise and the Mummy.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
For her sins, Armanette was mummified, alive.
Welcome back, everyone, to MaJaMa Jams, a show where we discuss other people's work to avoid doing our own. And today, I think, guys, is going to be a great one because we have just watched the first and last and only installment of Universal Studios' planned Dark Universe, Shared Universe, MCU ripoff number 8006, The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise. And if you've heard about it, you probably know that it's got a little bit of a stigma, a stank trailing behind it like Pigpen and Peanuts. The flies won't just stop buzzing around his head.
Right.
But after watching it, I have to say I don't get the hate in this moment. We're talking a 15% Rotten Tomatoes critic score and a 35% audience. One's low on both accounts.
This means something.
But your old pal Jason, who's never seen it before, neither has Matthew, this guy has. In the moment, I don't get it.
Don't be telling people my business. That's personal. If I want to divulge it, I will.
I've seen it. Mateo hasn't. Who knows what Matthew's doing, you know? I don't even know what's going on over there. He's got a bunch of stuffed animals around the crotch. So we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it because, again, I don't see how this got such a stigma. So that's what we're going to do. And we're getting into it for you on Jams. Let's kick it off.
Who's in charge here?
We're going to put it back over to Matthew. You know what? How do you want to do this? Because I really want to talk about the movie and the synopsis and the walkthrough. Who cares, right?
Just leave the room.
I'll come back in about 60 minutes. I'll watch the tape afterwards.
Yes.
Gee, excuse me. I'll be right back.
The story is just there is a female mummy.
She was a woman?
Tom Cruise is a woman?
An angle I like. So how do you want to start here? You've been talking about we just springboard and don't talk about the movie as much. This one I feel like is ripe for a discussion of the extraneous
Yeah, I don't think we need to
functioning
talk
parts
about
of
the
the movie.
plot.
So the movie starts with the huge, how can I say, the assumption that there will be a dark universe. So the Universal logo morphs, no, not morphs, but spins into the dark universe. It's kind of like the Ghost Corps from Sony that...
They never learn how organic the process was. They never
should do a movie and then say, if it's successful, then we can go forward. But
Or tease it. But don't put it at the forefront beginning of
not
the
only that,
film.
but they made... there's a can inside of your...
I was hoping you were going to do that. You can pull it off?
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah! Now it's on film. That's cozy as hell.
We stopped using film about 30 years ago.
How are these recording us then?
Magic.
I think you're right.
So they made before about a month before the movie came out, they made a trailer introducing the Dark Universe, but they only used the images from the classic 1930s monsters.
All black and white.
All black and white, but modern music.
Okay.
And then it would go with that, and then they had the famous Vanity Fair photo shoot.
Who was it? Him, Crow, Johnny Depp?
It was Tom Cruise, Maria Butella, the
Bella Chani.
yes, the mummy, and Russell Crowe, who were in this movie. Then there was Javier Bardem, who was supposed to be the Frankenstein's monster, and Johnny Depp was supposed to be the Invisible Man.
I would like to see where this would went after this.
Yeah.
We are the dark universe. Money, 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 money. We are the dark universe.
Then the movie starts with a truckload of exposition.
The Crossrail is the biggest construction project in Europe, carving 26 miles of new commuter train tunnels beneath the surface of London.
I have unearthed many ancient mysteries. At last.
There is first the writing on the screen, then there is the news that tells that they found the tomb. Then there is Dr. Jekyll's description of what is going on and what's happening. Then Dr. Jekyll vanishes for the whole movie till halfway through. And the movie is kind of like all over the place. There is the Egyptian mummy, but it starts in England with the Crusaders who went before going to Mesopotamia, took a tour to Egypt. It's what many critics were saying is that this movie was made for the foreign market. And in fact, it has been, I think to date, the highest box office result for Tom Cruise in foreign market. It made $140 million on foreign market. It made $31 million here, or 39, one of the two.
Actually, it was 80 domestic and like 360 worldwide.
No, the opening.
Oh.
And you're destroying the set.
Everything's fall. You guys are going to see all this
I'm
collapse.
just relaxing.
Yeah.
What?
So they did all of this exposition, which comes back throughout the movie. There are a lot of flashbacks and stuff because critics were saying every country can put its own mythology. Is not necessarily tied to an Egyptian god. Yes, it takes place in Egypt, but then they found it in Mesopotamia. Then they moved to London, so you could swap whatever god or whatever creed or religion you want to put there, and it works.
Didn't they say she was Egyptian? They just buried her outside of Egypt and not to...
Do you have an idea what this is? The significance of it? An Egyptian sarcophagus in a tomb in Mesopotamia.
She was evil.
Yeah, but it's so generic and all the gods. I mean, she evokes a god who gives her not a dagger, but like
dagger.
Yeah, dagger. Okay. So then she can kill her father and his son. So that's not much of a god. She could have gone to Target to buy a knife.
Like a baby's head and explode his brain inside.
And twist it. And then, which I think is the crucial mistake of this movie, it comes to present day. The monster movies, especially the Mummy lore in general, is either a period piece or is in a secluded area. It's not in the middle of London, present day. It's weird as a setting.
I think we have to maybe bring up another topic of discussion before we get into this, because I've often been fascinated by the set and setting and the emotions and the preceding events involving a movie. For example, what I mean by that is, in this moment, I have no idea where the hell this 15% stench of a stigma came from, genuinely. But what I'm wondering is, and this is a huge topic which is fascinating the more I delve into movies, and Matteo, I think we've touched on this a bit, but, you know, it's Friday afternoon, get off work, I come here with you guys, usually I'm getting off work, and I'm like, what's going on? Yes, I know the gimmick for the purposes, yes. And usually I'm like, oh, what's going on, what am I going to do? But I come right here with my buddies, it's Friday afternoon, I just got off, I got the weekend free, and we put on a movie. I've never seen it before. I'm in Matteo's comfy living room, I'm with friends. You watch it, and it's just like, it goes down smooth.
That all just happened. Why are you telling us this?
I had a blast.
We were here, you know.
As opposed to, hey, the Mummy's coming out. I just bought tickets a couple weeks from now. I'm getting excited. We're going out. It's a Friday night.
Tickets to the Mummy 3 weeks in advance.
We went to the thing. I got my popcorn. I sat down. I'm ready for the experience. I've been anticipating this.
Yes.
I don't know how much I have to factor that in, but I had a blast with it, and very quickly I was like, wait, why does this It's one thing to be like it didn't do well or it was this to me carried that classic stigma of the huge, massive failure mistake. Like I said, the 15% is very low, and the critics are even lower than audience. Usually with a movie like this, I feel like it's more forgiving because people like the base level blockbuster stuff. But I really don't know how much I have to factor in, like, hey, come over to your buddy's house when you get off work. It's the weekend.
This is the type of movie you never would have watched, period. Aside from, hey, let's do a jams on it because we hear it's terrible. Well, otherwise, you would, I think, have no interest in this.
Granted, I do lean, and you guys know this from our, the Godzilla episode where I just held you guys down and screamed at you. I lean heavily kaiju monster more than Universal monster, but I do like the Universal monsters. It's not the
but I don't
hugest
think,
thing. No, you're right. It's a valid point.
Like, well, no, whatever you're saying.
So, as I get into this, I do want to say I
think you're already in.
I don't know if we have to discuss set and setting of a movie, but I really had a good time with it.
No,
I thought it was
definitely
fun.
Factors into it.
There were moments where like the zombie skeleton guys came and were swimming under the water, and to see a skeleton swimming like that, like I said, it made me think of like an old pulp comics image from like a Crypt Keeper type comic.
To me, it reminded me of Alien Resurrection, I think.
Well, I will say standard issues with any blockbuster film, abundant in any blockbuster film aside, and any comparison to the 90s or the 30s, 40s Boris Karloff mummies aside, this is a standard fun blockbuster with no real reason for it to have gotten such a bad rap. I don't really understand why it was torn apart as opposed to anything else that comes out around June or July.
That's the other distinction I want to make, is that if you want to say like, okay, it's not the best or nitpick, like you said, there's blockbusters in general tend to have certain problems. I mean, friggin' CinemaSins and Honest Trailers and Pitch Meeting have made a career off of the fact that those type of movies usually have things to nitpick at. I guess, and again, it's also another interesting conversation of the brainwashing, if you will, when weeks and weeks before you hear bad, like when we went to see Madam Web, I am guarantee you that all the people laughing in the theater were like, I heard on social media this was bad, because Madam Web is by no means great, but again, they're laughing at stuff that is par for the course, like, oh, my mom's in the thing studying spiders and like these type of lines, like it's a comic book movie. I think those people were brainwashed by social media to think like, they say it was bad, so me laugh.
That is a given, yes.
So I think and this is why I'm so excited about this Jams, I think all those can factor in, because I can get a meh. I don't get a 15% collapse the shared universe it was supposed to did, completely critical stigma following it with the air of an Ishtar or I'm thinking of a more modern example, but that I don't get. Even if I saw this and thought it was I still don't get the stank.
We now return to MaJaMa.
So let's get into it. You kind of agree with me, I feel like. You had a fun time with it?
Yeah.
So, Matteo, you saw it originally on a flight?
No.
Or in theater?
Yes, in
okay,
theater.
So this is perfect. So let's talk about...
What the hell were you thinking?
Let's talk about...
I was saying maybe all the critics on
You know
Rotten
this man has
Tomatoes,
seen everything in the theater.
We're wrong.
I would like, if I may, Mr. Morton, to tell you a story.
So this is great. Let's talk about both the movie, but let's talk about the differences in the viewing of it. So you saw it like on a theater opening night, and
So your screen was larger, the room was dark, and there was random strangers around you.
Yeah,
you probably got a snack beforehand or something?
No, usually no, because...
You never eat at the theater?
No, I never.
Very strange.
Very strange for someone who I met in my life as my movie guy. My movie guy.
Oh, wait, well, but I think to that credit, to that reason, because of the movie experience, yes, he wants to focus.
I respect it a lot.
One is that, and two, usually if I get popcorn, invariably the last bite, a piece of a kernel gets stuck into my teeth and I pass the first hour of the movie trying to remove it, and nothing
It
happens.
is one of the most annoying things that can happen with a food product.
So
let's talk about before we
It's
get
like a
into
perfectly
ours.
cupped little
they're
slit,
made on purpose.
tiny.
The whisk,
and
the little-
just the one on the bottom. Not the first one is just they go
yeah.
down fine, but the last one,
It's like a toenail clipping just wedged in your gum.
yes, exactly.
I'm not interested in that at all.
So let's talk about Matteo had the theatrical experience. So let's start off by talking about you, because I feel like it seems like you kind of align with the stank.
You've been through something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So-
I've seen things.
Let's start off by talking about you go to see it and your feelings on it, because I feel like you're mirroring why people hate it so much. Let's get
Well,
into
let's
that.
start instead with Mateo's feelings on the movie when you saw it in theater versus our experience watching it at home.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay.
I like it better in theaters.
MaJaMa.
Did you?
Yeah. No, I mean, no, in general.
Oh.
Not this specific movie. It was in general.
So to you, this is a complete flame out. Like it deserves all the bad and the
But worse than any other.
No,
Failed
no,
blockbuster?
no. It's a movie that, to me, the biggest problem of the movie is they should have called it Tom Cruise meets the Mummy, because there is so much Tom Cruise, which is one of the things that they say that behind the scene he had way too much control on the movie, and they kept on reducing the part of the Mummy itself. And less mummification of the mummy. The Brendan Fraser mummy, which is far superior,
Yeah.
it gets. I'm sorry.
One of my favorites. One and two.
We went to see the third one, I think.
It kind of falls off after that.
Oh my God.
But first
It's
two,
ter-
godly,
it's-
all
I
time.
don't-
Well,
I don't count the third one.
The second one, aside from the CGI
Aside from
rock.
the CGI rock.
Oh, that's where that scene's from?
Yes.
Yes, I love.
Other than that, the first two are godly.
Yes.
Yes,
Amazing
yes.
classics, fun, beloved.
So I went to the moving theater to see it.
Was it tough to get in the door since it was moving?
Get that.
Just want to see a movie!
And as I was saying, there is a difference tonally between this one and the Brendan Fraser one, and of course the Boris Karloff one. This one, apparently, they were saying that Tom Cruise had a lot of control and also a lot of dominance on Alex Kurtzman, who was at his first movie. He was a screenwriter. He did a few of the Mission Impossible. I think he did the first two Star Treks. He is Kurtzman and Orsi. I think there is a duo of screenwriters that did Star Trek. They did several movies together, and this one was his first solo adventure as a director.
God, can you imagine it's your first time and you got Tom friggin' Cruise breathing in your neck? Okay, so what I thought was, we could get back in the plane and do it again. I'm gonna jump out again. Tom, we don't have the money. No, I'm gonna do it. I'm jumping in. I'm going up now.
I looked at them, you know.
So there is that, which is very hard to also say you're a superstar. No, so you just kind of like go with that.
Why not just have Tom Cruise direct? I would love it.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure when I was watching it. One of the critic consensus seems why Tom Cruise? It doesn't seem a character for a movie like this.
We're just gonna take a minute, and we're all gonna come up with a new plan.
Brendan Fraser was great because he struck the tone of a guy who was in fear, but he was also swashbuckling, whatever it is. He was ironic, but it was kind of like almost comic booky.
There you are! You could play hide and seek. Come on, let's get out of here! Whoa!
Yeah.
Plus, it's gorgeous.
90s Brendan Fraser.
My God.
Totally underrated.
No, I think it's coming up. I think it's people.
What's coming up?
I think people are respecting the '90s Fraser now more than ever.
Have you seen him in The Whale?
That's what makes people appreciate it. Jesus, we didn't know what we had. See this fat son of a bitch. I gotta go whack off to the mummy again.
As long as you don't see him clapping.
Mark. I looked at him, you know.
Aha.
Wow.
So
Poor guy.
it's because Tom Cruise can
We all
be
love
funny.
Tropic
He
Thunder.
can be funny. Tropic Thunder, his earliest movies, except for Endless Love.
Did you ever try to light a whole pile of wet newspapers? Jeez, it smokes like crazy. I got real scared, see? But you want to hear the wild part? It's like I'm a hero or something. They thought I saved the whole block. To this day, my mother thinks I'm a hero. Hey, you better not tell her what I just told you either.
But
I used to watch Losing It on Comedy Central a lot.
oh, okay. But even
One of the very first, right?
yes, even a movie that he, for some reason, also didn't do very well. It was Night and Day, and it was pretty funny. Him and Cameron Diaz.
Hey, June,
I can't see!
you are doing great.
Get out of the way!
Open the door. Open the door, June. Open the door, June. It's a beautiful dress, by the way. 1 second.
So there was that, and the fact that I think that one of the biggest beef, if you will, of the journalists, of the critics in general was more than the movie itself, it was against Universal, saying, how full of yourself must you be to say, oh, this is the beginning of the dark universe. We just we will do everything, and it just if it crashed and burned. Those things, yes, you can plan it, but then again, Universal tried with Wolfman, with Benicio del Toro, which.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That was delayed for a while. It wasn't like
Yes.
a while.
Yes, exactly. And then Dracula Untold, and then Victor Frankenstein.
Oh.
None of them really, exactly. None of them did work, and so they say try to do something a little, just like. I mean, one of the good things it was that the budget of this one was $120 million.
That's insane.
Quite so.
Actually,
Yeah.
for the type of movie it is.
Yes. Now I don't know if they had spread it across what it was planned to be the Dark Universe, or it was just for this one. This is we probably will never know.
Dude, do you think Kevin Feige ever just sits back at just all these maggots that try to, they don't know. It was so organic and so planned and so meticulous with the MCU, and then everyone saw that and they were like, oh,
You also
that's what they do when they see this, because they want to be Feige and they just don't have.
But you also have source material that blend and
True, and he does speak of it. In the book I'm reading, he's like, hey, if you're ever in doubt, go to the comics. It's all right here. That's true,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
But I
It's
think
just-
even with those 3 titles you mentioned, there's been more of an action element to these films than there is horror.
Yes.
Which is kind of odd to take that route.
And that's and call it Dark Universe, because if you're setting up people to go see horror,
I
and
guess I do
instead
get that
you
critique
make
here.
something that is more like Indiana Jones-ish
Yeah.
than.
I mean, and that the Mummy lends itself to that more so than other
yes, granted.
horror films. And I mean, I don't think we can call it pretentious or overzealous for a company to be like, hey, we want to plan this dark universe and set this up and combine all our heroes, but it's taking properties I've never really. I mean, actually, then again, they've crossed over in the past, but I think it's just putting it so much at the forefront, releasing the trailer, and kind of not like, almost like Iron Man.
why don't you see if we like it first?
Yeah,
Yes.
Iron Man, you put you that's our idea. But
Yeah.
we're gonna kind of give you a post-credit scene, show us stepping into a bigger world, as opposed to, hey, we're gonna announce this, start it, throw Dark Universe at the beginning, like what is that?
Yeah.
And then kind of go with it. So
It's Ghost Corps, like
It's
you
Ghost
said.
Corps.
It's the exact same
Yeah.
thing. What? Everyone tries and everyone fails, even DC, with the source
Just
material.
like even when they did the first movies, the Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, they were not setting up a universe. Eventually, yes, because they were. So then they did Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, or House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein. But they came organically because the first movies were successful. They never planned to say, oh, let's do this, because you can do it with something like, for instance, Harry Potter, because you have 7 books, and you say, okay, I know there is a map, I can follow it, like you're saying, follow the comic books, it's there.
Welcome to a new world of gods and monsters.
To a new world of gods and monsters.
We now return to MaJaMa.
What the hell? Hey! You better come and look for me!
Granted, the Brendan Fraser mummy was made with money, but it was more, again, it looked like more one of the serials from the 30s, like Indiana Jones, than a horror.
Well, when you put it that way, I enjoyed it, but I do see, like, hey, it's the dark universe, it's the classic universe of monsters we came for horror. I did think they got those elements in, but this is very much an action movie, so I do get that critique.
There is, and when they try to do the horror, it doesn't really work. Plus, tons and tons of things stolen from other movies. There is the dead, non-dead friend that is from An American Werewolf in London.
You know what's happening.
Dead?
No, but you're gonna wish you were.
The wolf's bloodline must be severed. The last remaining werewolf must be destroyed. It's you, David.
What?
There is the mummy stealing the breath from Lifeforce. Toby Hooper, your favorite director to pronunciate. There are even, I don't want to say jokes, or gags of her flinging him up in the air and he lands in front of the camera. It was in Near Dark, and it's even in UHF.
Hey, let me give you a hand there, old buddy. Asshole.
You know what I did like that I'd never seen before is him reaching under the rib. That shit hurt. I've never seen that done. Especially since my ribs are so exposed. My God, I could have a field day with me.
And then also, it's weird to use Dr. Jekyll as the Nick Fury
Why
of the
didn't
situation.
the dude, his assistant, just grab the syringe from him and be like,
Okay, don't. Okay, we're just gonna take a minute, and we're all gonna come up with a new plan.
we have to go. Okay, I'll take care of it. As opposed
Yes.
okay, you don't want to be here. Let's start heading out. I'm like, no, just, he's transforming. Grab it and inject him.
You don't know what you're doing.
Really? I know exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, my dear Henry Jekyll. If ever I've seen Satan's signature upon a face, it is on that of your new friend.
And you would think that the doctor would have figured out.
Yeah.
Again.
But did he just inject himself?
If you, then how often? Because
Yeah.
it's seen pretty frequently. If you were setting it up in the 50s or the 30s, then you may understand that. But nowadays, you could have, if you have a diabetic, you have the things that drips the insulin whenever it lowers.
Yes, very good point.
And you would think, the doctor also would figure out that.
Well, you just got some kind of apparatus on your arm too.
Yeah.
It's not an exact science, this business.
There has to be a movie that exists.
It's not possible.
Which has the least ratio of why that? So the movie can happen.
Of course.
There are no perfect movies, but my brain wants to know what is the one that you literally just can barely do a pitch meeting or a cinema sins because it's so damn close to so the movie can happen. I'm not saying for now to figure it out, but it's just a very interesting question.
Like, for instance, this movie, one of the things that everybody pointed out correctly
I sure talk about movies a lot.
Is the stupid thing that they say, oh, they wanted to keep the mummy the trapped, so it's under mercury with this thing. Okay, bang. There it is. And so if you want to keep something hidden, you don't put a system of pulleys and cables.
Pull back out?
Exactly. So that is one of the things that I remember in the theaters. There were genuine laughter, not with the movie, but at the movie, because that was really stupid.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Why would the pool even be exposed?
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're so worried that something must not leave, say don't do something that simple. That if you remove one.
Or have nothing in the.
What did you guys think about the aspect of making her a woman?
Different times.
And being mad about having the throne stolen and her look and everything, because I, again, coming into this, just watch this. I thought it was pretty cool. I also like the fact that she's like, oh, I'm actually going to get the throne as a woman, and then the dad's like, no, I want to have a son. Oh, it happened, so that's not you anymore. I thought that was a good motivator.
I don't think that's anything new.
You didn't like it? You didn't like the look?
I didn't dislike
You like the look?
Yeah.
You want bandages?
I was when she started sucking the two guys off, the two policemen that come and find her after the crash, and she sucks them off.
She sucked two policemen off?
And she's getting their life force. I was worried that she was going to become human too fast, and she did.
Someone's going to come too fast.
I was hoping for more of, because even if you do have her be supernatural and they're fighting each other, you can still at least keep her more like a corpse, as opposed to like a hot girl.
I haven't. Oh, she was kind of hot. I think that's what it was. Why I was okay with her, because I was imagining us having hot mummy sex on top of that too. So, there was a thing recently with this whole modern, day and date released and moving to streaming or 30-day window streaming, that old chestnut, that sometimes when a movie tanks in the theater, they say, well, you know what, that'll just make it that much more of a prestige title for streaming because it was in the theater. So even if it came out, didn't do any business, and actually flopped theatrically, the fact that it was a theatrical release will make it that much more appealing as a home release title, if you follow that.
Yeah.
Which is actually a decently smart idea. So once again, I think, especially this being such a big budgeted studio summer blockbuster, that one there with the plastic shark behind it, I think it has something to do with that, of being like, hey, you're just here on the couch with your buddies, just got off work.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to put on this this slick, mega budgeted mummy movie with Tom Cruise, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I can just watch this for free in Mateo's living room, as opposed to...
On top of the hate and the hype, or the lack thereof, that we've heard leading up to this.
Also preparing yourself.
How it had a whole movement and a connected universe that was going to be built off this one film.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Also, The Mummy seems like a weird place to start.
Yes.
Where was it, Dracula we started with?
Dracula seems like the main, like the king of the jungle, lion type deal.
I think that they avoided Dracula because there was a saturation of vampires by the time.
Goddamn Draculas.
Maybe start with Frankie.
They just had done Victor Frankenstein.
He just said that.
Well, you just did everyone apparently. So.
Well, and the only one that was left beside.
How come everyone's asleep? Well, you just did everyone in the party.
The only other one that there were two, which are not really attention grabber. The Phantom of the Opera, and which there were plans a long time ago. Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Oh, yes.
With modern kind of weird spot to start.
Yeah, Creature from the Black Lagoon also was supposed to be a movie way before any dark universe. I think that even before Marvel came across, they started to, if memory serves, it was supposed to be made with Bill Paxton. One of the reason it was
Paxton.
Yes.
What year was this?
I told you way before that, and one of the reasons that I know of it is that I remember seeing a poster somewhere that say, "Oh, the next summer, the creature," and at Universal Studios, Hollywood. they made a whole show about the creature from Black Lagoon, which tanked spectacularly, also because they
tanked.
Yes,
Was there a tank?
No, actually, technically it was beautiful.
I heard
there is the whole show on YouTube.
Yes.
And technically, it was magnificent, and everybody was working their head off into that. But it was horrendous. There were jokes about Viagra. There was
you've told me about that in the weird tone of it.
And it was supposed to be. So this summer we have the Creature from the Black Lagoon in the movie theaters, and we have the Creature from the Black Lagoon in a story that has nothing to do with that.
It also wouldn't be that hard to do a great-looking suit, like put the money into it, but still do a practical
Tom Woodruff
suit.
Jr. was the creature in Monster Squad, and it was a pretty cool costume.
Thanks a lot, Pete.
That could have been also an interesting beginning of, but I guess that the cynical reasoning of Universal was, let's make a first movie with a mega star, so that we can sell it worldwide. And since nowadays the American box office doesn't really count anymore,
So it's unusual.
so we can sell it. We can sell. Well, it's true. I mean, look at the Meg and the Meg 2 are pandering to Asian market throughout the whole movie. The last Fast and the Furious, there's always something with Japan. If they're not there, something happens.
I think Pacific Rim Uprising only really happened because of the China involvement.
Yeah, exactly.
Budgeting and their
release. They say, and unlike here, where there is no longer a star power at the box office, instead overseas there is still, let's go see the last Tom Cruise movie. Let's go see the last Tom Hanks movie.
Bunch of idiots.
I looked at them, you know.
We now return to MaJaMa.
He's not exactly driving it, I suppose, in Wonka more than Dune, but both Wonka and Dune are Wonka did like 600 mil worldwide, and Dune's getting there, so I don't think that's entirely based on, like, let's go see a Timothée Chalamet movie, but I do think in these starved times, he's one of the closest we've got, because those are two solid-ass hits back to back.
Probably, but I think more than it's, right now, as I told you, I think that the stars of today are the directors more than the
I was
the
going to say the
actors.
IPs.
Or the IPs.
Not okay.
I think that more than anything, because like what director other than like maybe Jordan Peele can still put like a
Christopher
new
Nolan, Quentin Tarantino.
He's sparse though.
He's sparse, but still every single time he
no,
has a movie
I
for
completely
whatever
agree.
reason.
He's become the verb. It's like, oh, we got a Spielberg over here, not a verb, but like a synonym.
Yeah.
Not okay.
So they made a movie that is not entirely an adventure, is not entirely a horror.
Not okay.
It starts with a banter that it belongs more to something like a Lethal Weapon than actually The Mummy. Like.
Let me think. We're gonna die because of you. Just let me think. Think about what? Think about what? I'm thinking. What? I'm thinking. What are you thinking? I'm thinking we're probably gonna die here.
Those kind of like jokes that are fine, but you don't expect them in a movie like this. If it starts with a very dark tone at the beginning, the legend, the thing. So
I get it.
It just like
too much with Jenny too. Like I didn't care.
Yes. And she has nothing to do. I mean, she's just like almost.
I didn't hate her.
No,
I get it.
But
I get it.
The ending was definitely just stretched. I'm like, okay, we can just wrap.
Well,
this
you
up.
know,
I don't care.
I think
her trying to find a good man in him. That's kind of fine, but you never make him too much of a dick.
I'm sorry, Nick. I think we've angered the gods.
Would you excuse me? I'll be right back.
I like the line about like you give me your last parachute, and he says, "I thought there were more." I think that's generally funny, and a good at least character building moment. Like, hey, I'm not a good guy. I was just trying to help you out first. I thought there was more parachutes after the fact.
You saved my life on that plane. You gave me the only parachute without hesitation.
I thought there was another one.
But I will say that I think then, talking it out with that, I get it. But
who have you been talking to?
I think that it's a huge lesson in how we go into movies and how the modern hyper-fixated spoiler culture is based, because I personally am obsessed with looking at, one of the reasons I like Rotten Tomatoes is because you get an audience score and a critic score, and I think there's a massive amount to learn from the divide between those two. I think that any movie nerd that says there wasn't is being dishonest. Yeah. So I often think to myself, when these movies get very low critical scores but high movie ones, it's just like, yeah, because we're just normal people who have kids and lives and jobs that wanted to escape on a Saturday. Our entire friggin' existence isn't watching these things, going in there with a friggin' pad in the dark like, oh, well, actually, in 1978, there was a thing stolen from this. And I think my response is completely indicative of what we could do to movies if you're just like, hey, you don't know anything about this. You didn't even know this existed until 5 seconds ago. Come and sit and watch it. Oh, that was pretty fun. Oh, did you think it was fun? Actually, I didn't, because I thought about The Mummy back in the day, the Brendan Fraser and the jarring tones. I read the report about this, and I heard that Tom Cruise had too much control, and this and that, and this based on that.
It sounds terrible to go see a film with you.
Like,
or anything else out there. Do
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's the biggest takeaway from this is, like, I had such a good time with it, and then when you talk it out and cram my ear of information, it's like, oh, yeah, the f***ing jarring tone, Lethal Weapon dialogue, and it makes sense.
Yeah, great, yes.
But I think it's such a testament to what movies could be like without all the excess. And like every time, like I said, every time a blockbuster is very low critic and very high audience, I'm like, because they're not nerds. They just wanted to go. I had 2 hours on a Saturday. You gave me Tom Cruise. You gave me action scenes. I was happy.
Oh, that was not from the can.
Oh.
I think your ceiling might be leaking.
Yes, definitely.
I was happy, and I didn't overthink it. You guys are the nerds that make movies your entire life. That's why you had 80 million things to say.
Do you have an idea what this is? The significance of it?
Because I really did. I had no problems with it. I had a blast.
Isn't this show talking about movies?
Yeah, no, I'm saying this the general public.
Should we not be doing this show?
I'm one of the obsessive nerds that has tried to make my entire personality movies as part of this show.
How do you not do a post-credit scene? When you're supposed to be setting up a connected universe?
Yes.
Like
because I think you had hide so much in there.
Marvel. Huh?
I think you had hide so much in there.
What'd they hide?
Dr. Jekyll.
But still, your connected universe, and it should be like, oh, the
it
Invisible
even
Man
ends
comes
with
in.
them on the horse going.
Yeah.
So it's the.
Plus, like you had what? Invisible Man cast and
Bride of Frankenstein. There was also
who was the bride?
I think that Angelina Jolie was supposed to be the bride.
That's right. I think that she was the fourth in the.
No. God, you already have a popular IP. Why do you have to throw in a popular star in there too?
Yeah.
So recognizable too. So overused.
I think she might have been able to do
No,
a good bride.
of course. Angelina Jolie is a great actress, and she disappeared into roles. But I'm saying, just stop using the same people.
But that's also what I'm
again.
saying. Imagine if you just I was like, hey, actually, I have it here. Watch it. As opposed to having like months of Angelina's take. Oh, Angelina on set did this. Oh, here's a picture of Angelina.
Wait, what you do?
Like, there's a huge. Your rapid fire thing is like, it's breathtaking, dude. But my God, it's the revenge for how I live my life. I'll be like, yeah, mom died of cancer. Did she fart? Oh yeah, and then I'm really sad about it. Oh, did she fall down the stairs? It's just like, man, just a snake sinking its fangs into everything I say. There's a retort.
I'm
that's
just
comedic.
having a fun conversation with my friends on a Friday.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm saying everything I say, he's got a retort back that like derails the emotional resonance of what I'm saying.
This is revenge for Matt Linnick.
It is. That's what it
Matt
is.
Linnick says hello.
This part will be cut, but whatever. I'm sorry. If you like a movie and I don't, should I say, oh yeah, no, you're right? No, I'm telling you.
No,
exactly.
that's what he. Yes, you got it.
That's what he wants.
That
Yes, I
wasn't my
know.
point.
I remember exactly. I'm watching a movie without. Actually, I've stopped intentionally, as I told you, even with Nope. I say, okay, I've seen
Well, this was not aimed at the two of you.
Shut
I'm
up.
saying...
No, you were starting to say, no, us derailing the whole thing. Yes. We can read between the lines.
Yeah, no, I was saying that he makes a
read.
comment every time I'm trying to say something, which is entirely that. I'm talking
Maybe
about
you should try
the
pointing the
public.
finger back at yourself.
I'm talking about
Maybe
the
you should
public
take a
in general.
deeper look inside.
Yes.
Look, I'm the one that is a friggin' nerd that wants to do nothing but sit in movies all day. I'm not saying like, hey, how you guys say that. I'm saying how my experience today is indicative of how the public responds to movies and how the movie culture shapes how we view things.
Yeah.
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 It's nothing to do with personally saying, hey, you and your viewpoint on this movie. That was in the Godzilla episode I was doing.
You pointed at me, though.
Yes.
You
and
said
at me.
things.
And you made a clear impression with the glasses and stuff. So
I wear glasses.
That was hurtful.
Not right
that
now.
was hurtful. Yes, the two of us were.
The glasses push was the critics.
Quite so.
I think that's the best point about this.
If people didn't know you wore glasses, they would think you were taking a hit at glasses wearers.
To go back to that, I don't follow. I mean, I've seen one trailer and I decide if I'm interested or not in the movie. I don't want to watch 62 trailers that are spoiling completely the movie, as it happens with you with Nope, with trailer 2. So remember, you told me don't watch it.
It was terrible.
It was before Jurassic Park.
What did they show?
Everything.
Oh.
Well, they blatantly say
Oh God!
The first
trailer was
Nope
just
trailer
beautiful.
it might literally be, if not the best, one of the best examples of what a trailer
I remember
should
telling
do
you,
in
I
history.
say, okay, I'm sold. I want to see it. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to read anything. I'm not gonna go online to look at the.
The second one said, "There's aliens. We got to get a picture. It's going to be this," and I was like, "What are you doing? That first trailer is art."
We're talking about mass markets here. We're talking about a huge blockbuster film with a ton of money at it. You got to give the masses some breadcrumbs to understand what's happening.
The thing is that
to bring in the laypersons.
Back in the old days, usually there was one trailer. We were interested in that, or not. And that's it. It's not that a second trailer would entice me. If I see a movie with Roberto Benigni.
Why would you do that? You hate him.
Yeah, no, but if I say a trailer, I don't have control on trailer.
Turn it up! Who's making
exactly.
Projector Man?
It's not that 10 other trailers of the same movie would make me change my mind. I say, no, I don't want to see that movie, period, at the first trailer. So I don't care. I remember a long time ago, there was, there's a trailer of The Force Awakens, the Japanese one. It has 6 more seconds than. I don't care. I want to see it. I already know that I want to see it. I don't want to spoil the movie for me.
That was my point. I'm making the same point. I'm saying the culture, how it becomes, puts preconceived notions into your head to the point where when you see this, you're like,
you weren't even speaking.
I heard this was a bad movie, which, as we can see, alters everything.
Yeah.
If I tell you, hey, I'm a perfect example. Antonio is kind of the dick of vetoes. This guy that we were going to meet, a guy at a pizza place we worked at briefly, he says this guy's a dick, and then we meet him. He's the nicest guy. He literally offered us to sleep on his floor, and me and Matthew were just like, what is he talking about? It was jarring because they said, hey, this guy's a dick. That's what happens with movies. I went into this with, like, I have baggage. I mean, I just enjoyed it because of that, or in spite of that, rather. But it becomes garbage fed into your head. That's what I was saying, is that we should have more just like, hey, guess what? Today, right now, and I understand, yes, you can't with millions of dollars behind it, but like, today, surprise, The Mummy. Who's in it? Tom Cruise. Go today. You know nothing. Beautiful experience.
Before we do that, we have to have some coffee.
And that's what you've started to do more and more with trying to, like you say, avoid the
I have to get to work. No, you're going to see The Mummy with Tom Cruise right now.
But I don't like the Mummy.
No.
There are armed guys outside in the WB logo.
Where's my wife?
But it's Universal.
I think you're right. I think this is all in my head.
We now return to
MaJaMa.
Jenny! Run! Run!
But still, it's
Mind you, I'm not making the point that that would have completely changed your viewpoint on it. I just feel like...
No, but it's like, for instance, okay, watching this movie, to quote a movie that we watched recently, not that extreme, but it was the same to me when we watch Aliens Come. You show me a cover, you show me a title, and I watch a movie knowing nothing about it, and I'm horrified of what I'm seeing.
Listen,
Mom was
I
angry
think we
last
need
night.
to be careful with comparing any film
Yes, very
to
true.
Alien Scum, let alone a $120 million blockbuster.
Mom was mad.
Why'd you watch that episode? Why would you show her that episode?
She said, Mateo gets to the point where he says, I don't know if you can enjoy a movie like this. She goes, thank you, what is this? And she's like, and what is up with Spectre? This is the type of thing he likes. I'm like, yeah, he watches this all the time.
His friends are sick!
She's like, is he dating anyone? And I'm like, yeah, he's married. She goes, he's married?
When I went to see it, I tried to see it as quickly as possible because I got wind of the fact that...
Can we run this at double speed?
Yes.
Who's in the projection?
No, but I got wind that it was destined to a bash by critics. And so I say, okay, I don't want anybody to spoil it to me. I want to see it. It's like when we went to see... that it was anticipated. Oh my God, this is a horrible movie. It's a horrible movie. More than a horrible movie, it is a bad movie. But mostly it's two movies mashed into one. That at a certain point it takes a turn and it goes down a completely different route. So it's very, very, very different.
At least we get Jason Bateman saying,
Hancock, tucking me in.
Conrad.
Good. So I try to, first of all, really, nowadays, I am so not following all the news. There is a scene of this. There is a scene of that. Because I know that they will spoil a movie that I might be interested in. But at the same time, I am so far removed that sometimes a movie comes out and say, oh, really? There was this movie?
We were just talking today that Late Night with the Devil seems to have just manifested out of nowhere to be this amazing gem. Just what? Where did that happen?
These things are complex.
Yeah, I bet. So when I saw this one, I was genuinely puzzled because the biggest thing, first of all, I always thought that if you want to do a horror movie, having $120 million is always wrong. Horror movies are born to be cheap and to be the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all of the Universal monsters. I remember.
I mean, at least, like I said, in Mummy's defense, there's a lot that would go into discovering the mummy that you would need sets and
but
tombs
he's right
and
that
pyramids in Egypt.
Frasier, which I think is what you're talking on, is more indie serial.
Frasier? I hate that show.
More indie serial than this trying to be,
Yeah,
like
in
you
fact,
said, dark.
for that one,
put the money to Frasier.
They went to
let's watch the Mummy.
A story like yes.
Have I ever seen it?
No, but
what were you going to say on camera about me and adventure films?
Oh, I don't think you can picture. I don't think you strive to be Indiana Jones.
That's why you guys watch them.
That's why everyone watches Indiana Jones. But I don't think you have. I don't think you have the Indian in you where you're like, oh, I want to go on an adventure and be Indian, running through temples and saving Indian babies.
That's probably my point with GZ is I want to be there seeing them. So that's the.
No.
I'm saying that's. You're saying that's why I can't have a more fun time with it. I drool over monster movies because I want to imagine that they're real and doing that. I think it's the same philosophy you're saying.
I don't think that's why you like monster movies.
I'm sorry, kaiju movies.
I don't think that's why you like kaiju movies.
Why do I like them?
Because it's fun to see monsters fight.
I like imagining that they're real. Never mind.
What? What?
The ring lights will be just. Well, let me ask you, was there anything at all that you did like when you saw it, even a little more so, or was it just complete across the board like, ugh?
No, it's not. When you detach yourself from what your expectation is.
Leave happiness, hope.
Yes, and you say, okay, I get it, that is not what I was expecting from a movie titled The Mummy. You just look at whatever it is. And for instance, the plane crash, it's nice because they shot it actually on the Vomit Comet.
It's pretty cool, right?
The plane
I thought that was a great
creates
scene.
the absence. It was hilarious when, by mistake...
How?
I don't know.
How does not get the trailer without the sound?
Yes.
How does that not get watched before it gets
Okay,
uploaded?
thank you. I was watching that scene like I know in my soul some mishap happened with this scene. I could not remember what it is. Thank you.
No.
What was it?
What was it?
Apparently, I don't know if by mistake or on purpose to generate
The
buzz,
the Hedgehog theory?
they release that sequence, the sequence of the plane crashing, with not all of the sound layers stack up. There was just like temporary sound or just like no sound at all.
It's a guy going into a paper tube.
No, but close.
That's awesome.
At first they tried to remove it.
I mean, at that point.
Which that what made me think, okay, it was intentional to just like, create some interest of people saying, "Oh my God, I haven't seen it," or
the classic,
Sonic. Dude,
Yes,
if
but-
Sonic,
Yes.
if Sonic's theory is
Bad
real,
press is
that is
good,
hand
and
down
good
the
press is
most
good.
brilliant way to get buzz about your movie. Not only
Yes.
that, but you get them disappointed. Then don't worry, we're going to be fan friendly and fix it. Oh my God, he looks better. They're
But
good-hearted
this just
people.
makes you look like incompetent.
yes.
To not only create something, but also to not notice it's this. How can you not
But
notice that issue is uploaded? And
what's
you
the
don't-
kiss of death?
How do you not have this? How many people are checking it? before
Granted,
it
you're
comes out?
universal, but what's the kiss of death? Oh my God, it's becoming an infection.
Are you?
It's becoming an infection. Something's happening. What's the kiss of death? The kiss of death is
It's a wonderful movie with Richard Widmark.
no one's speaking on you. You die in the void. So
Yes,
I get
but-
your point, but nothing is worse than no one speaking about your movie. Nothing.
Yeah.
True.
But even like the audio they do have of the girl being pulled out of by the parachute.
Yeah.
Yeah. The weird like that. Okay.
Oh shit!
I don't know if that's
I wish.
if they
Flavin!
if they recorded separate audio. I mean, they do that a lot. They record separate audio for different trailers, of course. But it's so weird that it stands out even more so because there's lack of.
No, I
any visual
think
sound.
that
What are you
is,
laughing at?
I was imagining that like we have some problems with the rough cut of the Mummy. Every time Tom Cruise takes a hit, they put in a Jerry Lewis sound. Hello, Mummy, Flavin.
It's like in a movie called Volere, Volare by Maurizio Nichetti. He's a sound guy and he dubs a porno movie with cartoon sounds. This is actually pretty funny.
Let's do it.
For instance, I remember seeing a documentary on Terminator 2 where they were saying, for instance, one of his shotgun, the sound of the shotgun was 3 guns, one on top of the other with echo. And so.
Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down.
And clearly, if by mistake you delete 2 of them, it gets less powerful. So one of the things is that probably that of the woman might have been one of the many parts of what you hear, but if you remove all the other 4 or 5 sounds underneath it, you just get that, and that's it.
Wait, I'm sorry, that was in the movie you're saying?
No, in the trailer.
In the trailer.
The trailer. I mean, not even the trailer.
No, I forgot. Like I said, I remembered something with the plane scene, but I couldn't think of what it was. My mind jumped back to the first ever, before some IMAX movie, they released the plane scene of Dark Knight Rises, and they were like, oh crap, we don't think anyone can understand Bane.
No one cared who I was until I put on the mask.
If I pull that off, will you die?
It would be extremely painful.
And then they redid it. Yeah. That for some reason, I guess planes and mishaps, my brain jumped to that as well.
Yeah, it's...
just like Ezekiel Sims and Madam Web. What? We should watch it with him just for that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
The villain's overdubbed.
Matthew's just like, wait, is every
on
every
top of
single
just his
line?
performance, on top of the way he, or whoever did his voice, I'm assuming it's him, it's just so bad and campy in the worst possible way.
Teenagers now, but in the future, they have powers, and they will try to destroy me. I came from nothing, less than nothing. I will not give up everything I've built and have my life cut short.
What are we where are we? Are we done?
Yes, it's like the line in Austin Powers, now to Dr. Evil, that is just like, over
I don't
there.
hear that one that much.
At the end, I remember it was so jarring.
He's saying it, or you see...
Now to Dr. Evil.
Just like to tell the audience where it's going, and it's whatever.
Let's express our feelings by throwing pieces of Madam Web's web. Well, you know, if I'm being honest about it, I did have a very good time, shockingly so. Be dishonest? It sucked. I agree with everyone else. No, I had a very good time with it, and I think it's important to talk about the expectations and the way I went into it, but in the moment, everything worked for me. I did like the horror elements of the skeletons coming up and the fights, the action, the plane scene. Like, the girl mummy had a good time, so I'm going with 2. 2 perhaps depending on the situation it was watched in, but 2 because that, at least in the moment I was watching it, was what a blockbuster was supposed to be. Possibly dissipates the second after, but fun in the moment.
Same exact reason, but a 3.
Okay.
I don't have anything more to say, but it took me longer to get the papers all crumpled up.
Great job, a-hole.
Swish.
I go with 3.5.
That's generous.
Because one thing that we didn't mention, at least you may like it or not. You may like him or not, but
Tommy's got it.
I've never seen Tom Cruise sleepwalk in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever he's in a movie, he gives 110%.
I don't think it's possible for him to sleep. He seems like every second of life is, let's do it.
Yes, and so...
He's very coked up.
It's...
I looked at him, you know.
So at least for that, his dedication, it's enviable, enviable, and I envy him.
I want to see...
Also for the money, but mostly for the dedication that he has.
Tropic Thunder is a tour de force, and yet he's a side character, 1 or 2 scenes. I want to see Tom Cruise take that chutzpah, that verve, and that acting ability and commitment, and I want him to lead in a full-on goofy comedy.
Now shut the f*** up and let me do my job!
Briefly, they were talking about a spin-off with that character. I remember that for a month they were talking about it.
I think he could do it. And I'd be curious, and I don't know why our biggest, most beloved stars treat comedy like the Oscars do, and like, well, I'm a mega blockbuster star with acting talent. I'm certainly never going to do a straight-up comedy. I might do something with comedic elements, but you'll never catch me in a straight-up comedy.
I think they're very willing to do cameos and SNL skits and other jokes and Oscar bits, but in terms of doing actually full-on comedy film, they kind of seem to stray away from it.
Why?
But they're big, we'll be goofy and we'll make fun of myself and we'll do in this kind of in short skits or
It would be also nice to see him in a choral movie, like It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, having 4 or 5 stars and just like going ballistic as a comedic. Because It's a Mad, 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 Mad World was done with comedians. Everybody on screen except for Spencer Tracy, who had his share of doing comedy, but he did also drama. But everybody else was a comedian. But if you take...
The guy from The Thing?
I'm sorry?
Is that Spencer Tracy? The guy from The Thing?
No.
Right.
That was James Whitmore, and it was in
looks
Them.
Like Spencer Tracy.
Yes,
Spencer
but
Tracy was the
in
lead
Them,
in Ace Ventura.
not in The Thing.
You know it would be great to see Tom Cruise in is some tighty whities dancing around to rock and roll. Cut to it.
No.
Okay.
MaJaMa.
Well, guys, this was actually one of my favorites in a while. I love when we can really get into it in the movie philosophy and the other elements of it. What did you think of The Mummy? You three people watching this. This is my first introduction to it, but I kind of would have liked to see where the Dark Universe went after this. At least I've still got my beloved MCU. Guys, we'll be back next week and each and every Thursday with an all-new session on this couch, surrounded by this paper, with these two ding-a-lings and this loud mouth. And from our couch to yours, we hope you had a great time, and that is a jam.
Thank you.
MaJaMa.